Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. We're live, back in the flesh, back live and direct. Post-game thoughts, little viewership of everything that's going on. But before we go any further, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube. Make sure you're following and subscribed on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure your notifications are on for everything that we do. Listen, man, it's the end of the season. We're making sure we're going hard till we come home in it. You get me? Pause. But yeah, listen, the game's happened. We did the preview. It's now time to review it. 1-1. What's the thoughts? I thought that, I'll be honest, before I let you know, I thought the quality of the game, despite it being the first game back, there was some good quality there. I thought it was going to be very training ground-esque. There was a few moments where it was a bit slow, but it was a decent game given the conditions. That's for me personally, but you, man, speaking your teams, tell me what you think.
I agree there. I think it started off slow, definitely. And I think, in all honesty, that was kind of Jose's plan. It kind of worked in his favour. I think the first half, United probably struggled to get their rhythm. I think they were probably trying to play through Bruno too much. But, I mean, just from a Spurs perspective, for me, when I saw there was no Lo Celso, no Endom in the lineup, I thought, shit, we're going to be lacking creativity here. It's just going to be kind of chasing shadows. But I think United not being in their rhythm kind of helped us and gave us. We didn't have too many chances ourselves. I think aside from kind of Bergwijn breaking free there, we didn't really do too much. But that boy Bergwijn, since coming in, I think he scored against City. I think he scored against Chelsea as well. And then now against United, I think every kind of big moment, he's kind of stepped up for us and are one of the gems this season for us. One of the few bright spots.
Credit where it's due. Good recruitment.
100%, yeah. 100%.
We've got a shout
and
out.
kind of where we missed Lamela, Lo Celso for me today. Lamela just showed like why we can't keep him around anymore after the summer. I mean, always lacking in that final pass. Every time
Lamela
he dribbles
had a really
on the ball,
good game.
that's what the commentators are saying. And I'm like, are we watching the same game? Just because a man chases a ball down and does a little rash tackle, that's not his job. Your job is to be a number 10 and create chances. Harry Kane looked invisible today because he had no service. And I knew that kind of going into the game where I said, no Lo Celso, no Endom. But Lamela, you're supposed to create chances there. There was so many times, I think, with Son, he could have popped a through ball. There was another chance out wide. He could have played a little through ball there as well. He just doesn't, for some reason, he's still got this young mindset where he's just obsessed with dribbling into blind alleys.
For me,
I hate it. I hate it.
I think the easiest way to sum up for me is there was a moment where I saw Harry Kane wide. He crossed it in for Lamela in a position to get in. And I think the perfect way to summarize it is the sort of player that they need Lamela to be is the sort of player that Harry Kane can just stay in the box and you do the busy work.
100%.
But I mean, you can't take it away from him in terms of being busy, in terms of being a Jose Mourinho sort of player. He fulfilled that element.
It was needed for this game, but for me, I still expected more from him. But either way, I thought it was a tight game anyway. I knew it was kind of going to be close going into the second half with Pogba, and they had options still to come on. So I knew the game was going to change in the second half. But
what did you make of?
I'm not too mad at a draw.
What do you make of Jose's thoughts when he said post game? He said United had better quality in the bench. You guys, your quality, you had quality, but it was in your centre backs. And his idea was he would bring on one of the centre backs when it was time to close out the game. That was what he said in his post game. What do you make of that?
I'm not sure what he means by he saw the quality in the centre backs, because I thought Sanchez, there was big lapses he had where he let them through, and then Dyer, I'm sorry, but he almost blew the game twice. Like, we're talking about giving this man a new contract. Nah, he's got to go. Gone. I don't want to see that guy anymore at this club. Like, too many times we've seen lapses like that. I've said from day one, the guy is not a centre-back. And from the start of the game, when I saw what I call the Bermuda Triangle of Lloris, Aurier, and Dyer, I thought, yo, we are fucked. But Aurier actually weren't too bad today. Dyer, though, I'm sorry, man. That man's a liability. Liability.
I know we're talking about the game, but...
And it was a pen, that first pen. I don't know what Jose talk about how it was.
Yeah, that was a pen.
I know we're talking about the game, but obviously, like, when we have our group chat, we're privy to certain information other people are not. You came out this week and you compiled a list of players that you're willing to sell. And I thought some of the names were interesting. Can you share that list of players that you want gone this summer? Because for me, I find it interesting.
What was it? Gazzaniga, Dyer, Aurier, Davis. Let me see if I can try to find it. Lamella was definitely on there. Dyer.
Lucas Moura was there.
Lucas Moura. Dele Alli was another one as well. And Dele Alli and Lucas Moura, I say because I think they've still got value. I think teams will still think, do you know what? There's still a player within him that I can still kind of purchase. And I think we'd actually get good money for those two. The others, whether we're getting 10 million, 15 million, whatever it is, but there is a lot of flogging that needs to happen this summer. And where we said we might not have money available, that's where it comes in, selling these men.
It's well, if you look at your squad now, you sell them, man, your squad becomes a bit lean though, isn't it?
And that's the beauty of where I was saying next season I don't want European football. If we have that thin squad and focus on a quality 11, use that to build next year. Next year when we qualify for Champions League and we know we've got that money, that's when you add the quality again. Listen, I said we're in a rebuild.
You definitely qualify for Europe.
This year, you think?
You get Europa League or something. You definitely qualify for Europe.
I think Wolves are still there. And then if you lot don't get Champions League.
I don't think it's about getting it. I think he just doesn't want to. I think he wants
I don't want to is what I'm saying.
He wants Spurs to tank, innit? Effectively.
Ideally.
I hear you. Cam, what are you telling me? Big game bullies tried something today. There was one big game bully. Pogba came on, big thing, but talk to me. What are you saying?
They were predicting.
Didn't learn nothing new about Man United, to be honest. Yeah, thought we would win the game, but you know what? I always say it. When I see that the two peas in a pod of Maguire and Lindelof, basically the same player in terms of their attributes, in a two, I'm never really that confident. And then you get to a point where it's like, how many points does De Gea have to cost us before we start thinking, do you know what, maybe he just needs to stop playing? And it's hilarious. Like, all of a sudden, Roy Keane, he's a realist. Mate, I've been saying this since last season, mate.
I got heckled for Henderson. I've been
saying it since last season.
Coming in. Do you reckon that's a decision now, that Henderson must be coming in now?
Bro, how many times have I said it? How many times do I have to say it? It should be simple.
As in, okay, do you reckon that the higher up should be saying, you know what, there's no discussion now?
Of course.
Cool.
Bro, how many times have I said that new contract is going to haunt Manchester United? I've said it. You can't give him that big wages when he was already declining. You can see it. How many points does he have to lose us before we... Bro, the guy is single-handedly getting us out of this top four race, mate. Everton, the guy would kick the ball off a player and let them score. Now here, listen, Maguire was turning like a flipping double-decker bus.
I was going to say.
For that goal. You know what I mean? He turned like a double-decker bus. But what's it becoming now? Is it becoming a thing as in you have to have 0 shots on goal because your goalkeeper is just not going to save anything? You can't have any lapse of concentration. I'm not defending Maguire. That was absolutely shocking. He had an all right game in terms of like against Harry Kane and stuff, but listen,
Harry Kane
games are about fine moments.
He's
been 6 months off. That ain't hard.
He didn't have much to do.
So it's about big moments. It's about big moments, fine moments. You get me? So that was poor from him there. But I'm sorry, De Gea, the ball's coming straight at you. You're letting it in. You're letting it in. It's honestly, it's becoming a point where every shot feels like it's going to go in. There's no confidence there. And I'm not one of these guys. I'm not fooled. Bro, I'm not fooled by De Gea saving the ball with his opposite hand because it looks speculative, like fucking Jordan Pickford. That doesn't fool me, mate. It was a basic save. What Roy Keane said was right. It was a basic save. You're saving it with your right hand to make it look amazing. Save with your left hand. It's a normal save. I'm not buying this stuff no more with De Gea. Like, honestly, like. But in terms of the performance, I didn't learn nothing new, man. In terms of quality, football's about quality, right? Football's about quality. We had Daniel James absolutely listen now, yeah. Daniel James, I said it before. I think I already said it a few weeks. I can't remember, a long time ago. Daniel James is not even good enough to be in the top 10. Now, so many times I have to say it. He's not good enough to be in the top 10. He's just about good enough to play for one of the relegation teams, and I'm not even kidding there. You know what I mean? The right-hand side, in terms of technical ability of Daniel James, McTominay, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka is championship level. It's championship level. If we're talking about talent, and we're talking about technical, that's championship level. Three-man midfield. I mean, three-man right-hand side.
On the right-hand side,
That's shocking. Every single time Wan-Bissaka, listen, big up Wan-Bissaka defensively because he can tackle. That's fine. You know, Son's not going to get much joy. That's great. But I'm sorry, eventually this attacking aspect has to start coming in. And you see, with me, I'm always about, let's try and find a way to limit him getting that many touches on the ball. So that does come down to coaching. But I'm sorry, every time you touch the ball, it does not have to be a breakdance. It's like you're breakdancing. It's genuinely like you're breakdancing. He's spinning around. He's doing the most, bro.
Man said, why does he look like a WCW 5-time world champion on the ball?
Bro,
you're taking the piss.
Literally, bro. He's doing the spinner-rooney every single time he gets the ball. Like Booker T.
Yeah.
He's literally playing like Booker T on the pitch. And it's too much, bro, because listen, it's 2020. It's 2020. In the modern day, your fullback needs to be good on the ball. It's as simple as that, right? Luke Shaw, as I said, he plays safe. He plays safer than a lollipop lady. Luke Shaw on that left-hand side. He gets the ball and passes it inside. He doesn't take on. He doesn't have any ambition on going forward.
Do you know what you're highlighting?
Honestly, like it comes. Wait 1 second, bro. It comes down to quality at the end of the day, right? Marcus Rashford was way out of it in terms of he was getting in good positions, which is great. So that's good going forward. But you could see his touch kind of wasn't really ready. And even I think, you know, when you have that mentality of like, I don't want to make a mistake like you're trying to play yourself into
safe. You're playing
there were times I'm like, take him on, shoot. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, so he was doing whatever. And then again, Pogba comes on the pitch, right?
Quality.
Pogba comes on the pitch, the game changes. It's pure quality. He comes on, makes Eric Dyer dance, and then boom, pen. And then the game changed. All of a sudden, Mason Greenwood as well. Let's not sleep on him. Comes on unlucky at the end. But just simple being able to get the ball, look up, and be like, I'm going to go at him. I'm going to do something.
Bruno
when
is well, because even the small things, like the amount of times you were saying that's a pass that most players can't even see.
It got him drinking.
Real talk. Hey, listen.
You know, I'm always on the cherry bees, man.
Hold tight.
Alcoholic.
Listen.
But hear this.
When it comes to Bruno, what, like, top player, great player. I love what he's doing. He's trying.
Little fucking diver, though.
Great. Do you know what I mean?
Where you tried to dive for that second penalty.
He's doing his thing like.
I didn't like that.
You can see that players. You can see that players are trying to get on his wave.
I think he was trying to. I think he was trying to wait for the foul. You know, when you kind of feel like, you know what, that is a clown. He's gonna make contact. I think he tried to wait for it. It wasn't one of them like cynical, like, you know, the old school like Drogba.
And you know what? When I saw that it was Dyer, I thought, oh, yeah, shit, he's got him here. So, but go on, Cam.
So, big up Bruno for doing all of that, but that shot at the end, that pissed me off. With your left foot.
No, but you should know. You should know that's him. No, that's him. He's been doing that from
on your left foot.
That's him.
On your left foot, I don't care.
I was gonna say that's what he brings to the table, though.
That's
like,
him.
You've got to know that. That's part of his game.
Like, you got to know that certain players, that's their bread and butter. Bruno has always been notorious for taking a wild shot, and it's like, why? But when it goes,
the thing I don't understand is, what is Ollie's obsession with Dan James for me? Because time and time again,
he said.
Nah, hit this. Because time and time again this season, we've seen flashes of Greenwood, and we've seen, like, everybody talks about how high his potential in the ceiling could be. And even at the end, when he came on, he showed it. What does the kid have to do to start at this point? Because I'm coming towards the last 10 games of the season, I still don't know what Dan James is good at, apart from offering energy. And if I'm not mistaken, energy is good coming off the bench. You don't need to start him. I thought he was one of the key things in where your team was lacking that rhythm in the first half. Because anytime you lot would look for an outlet ball, it would be Dan James. He would get it, and it would just be similar to Lamela, just run into a blind alley or just lose the ball with a bad first touch.
Listen,
I don't know what Ollie's obsession is.
Wan-Bissaka tries to dribble more than Dan James. Dan James gets the ball, runs a little bit, turns around and passes it to Wan-Bissaka, goes inside and leaves Wan-Bissaka versus two all the time. Daniel James, right? The imagination, the image of Daniel James is a lot better than the reality, mate. The image that you think, oh yeah, we're gonna have some like pacey guy that's gonna stretch to the fence. He doesn't stretch nothing. He gets on the ball. He's one-dimensional. He can't take players on. Yeah, He isn't imaginative, not skillful, not a goal threat.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're just a player on the pitch who looks like a kid in a candy shop, mate. Like, you can't believe you're playing for Manchester United or something. It's 30 games into the Premier League season. He went, how many games did he go? 31 games without a goal?
Yeah.
But it's the fact that now he's using his pace to frighten the opposition.
There's no sympathy.
That's the crazy thing. But what happens
Do you
now,
think now,
you're talking it up just because of time, we were mentioning that a win today puts you above Chelsea on goal difference. Now you're 2 points behind Sheffield United, 2 points behind you, game in hand against Newcastle. They still have to face you. Top four still realistic? You still hopeful for that?
I think top four still realistic. 5 points, that's 2 games. That's 2 games. And one thing that the Premier League hasn't shown is consistency. So, of course, we're not consistent. So that's not going to be good on our part. But 5 games, it's doable, man. It's just Chelsea will go and win against Villa. But then we'll see. We'll see from there. But as I said before, there's 2 avenues of trying to get this Champions League. There's the Europa League, which has now gone down to 1 leg. Right,
which makes a
bigger advantage.
Yeah,
bro, I'm telling you, it's a must. If he doesn't get it, if we don't get Champions League, Ole's got to go. Simple as that.
I don't think though. To be honest, I wouldn't stress off because for me, even in that game, I thought it showed where kind of momentum from the previous, before Corona had kind of gone. But you lot were growing in that, and I think when you saw Pogba and Bruno link up and come on, I think you started to see the real Man United. You lot started to open us up. You lot started to create more. I think going forward, I wouldn't sweat it. And especially if you don't do that Greenwood, Dan James swap round, I think you lot will be like killing from the start.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. And it's something that was happening under Jose Mourinho sometimes where United would do this, for example. Like, it's like our players just say, fuck this, we're going to do what we want to do. And all of a sudden it clicks and it works. And then the next week, the manager reels you back in.
Yeah.
Really and truly, if Man United are trying to be a winning team, like win games, last 10 games this season, listen, don't have time for draws, nothing. I should be seeing Dallo on the pitch and attacking fullback. I should be seeing Greenwood starting every week. I should be seeing Pogba and Bruno starting every week. That is what I should be seeing. But I should not be seeing Dallo.
Do you not think?
I should not be seeing McTominay starting, and I should not be seeing Wan-Bissaka unless we're playing against a serious winger. I don't, in my opinion.
Do you not think maybe it's because Ollie's? Yeah. Do you not think maybe it's because Ollie's been so used to like in these big top 6 games or whatever to playing on the counter, and this was maybe the first one where he had to go on the front foot because he knew kind of what was on the line and kind of coming into the game. You guys were, I would say, the favourites. But
I don't know. It's that element. I think it's again what we've always spoken about in terms of Ollie.
Because usually in the counter-attacking type games, I can see why he would play a Dan James, but in that one, I just didn't.
Well,
I didn't see
the issue is he wants to play counter-attack.
Like Dan James versus Ben Davies, I'd bank on Ben Davies all day.
No, but this is the problem.
Lad, 4-2-3-1 is an expired formation.
Quick one, Cam.
Stop playing it.
The top games, you play your counter-attack, right? You're playing counter-attack, what you guys said in preview, against a Jose Mourinho, that it's hard to play counter-attack because he's not going to come and play expensive football. So I think, again, that just kind of shows some of the shortcomings in Ollie's philosophy of ideology.
So what Jose was saying pre-game.
Listen, sometimes...
I can't even hear, man. My thing's cutting out. What did you say?
No, we were just talking about... he said Jose pre-game, innit? What Jose was saying pre-game.
Oh, I mean, it's a one. Listen, at the end of the day, it's a 1-1 draw against Spurs away. You know what I mean? We can't now.
I don't think either team can be happy with that.
Yeah. We can't now act like it's like, oh my god,
there's not much time. There's still a few things to get into. Quickly before we move on from this, Roy Keane's halftime run very quickly. Thoughts on that? I think we need
what's the thought?
I think we need more
of it. Support black businesses and watch Stoppage Time, and you would have heard this a year ago, mate. What thoughts do I need to have on that? Like, honestly,
tell him, Cam. Tell him.
What thoughts do I need to have on something that's already been said? Like, allow it, man. It's just basic. The only thing that I like is that good people can stop trying to make it like Roy Keane is a hater of this guy and that guy. He says what he says. He'll say it about Maguire. He'll say it about anyone. So all of this, like he's on to Pogba or he's on to this person. No, he's not Graham Souness, mate. He's a realist.
No, it's really
So that's
Why
my
though?
only take on it.
calm.
Yeah, turning like that's what I'm saying. Maguire turning like a train, bro. And the worst thing is,
I've seen Milk turn quicker.
Maguire looks like he was look he had lost the weight.
I'm telling you,
I thought you had a little bit of agility onto you, mate.
Never trust a centre back wearing colourful boots like that. You see old school centre backs,
Trust.
all white,
Trust.
serious Adidas Copa Ronaldo.
Tell him.
None of this kind of. I saw one boot was yellow, one boot was pink, and I said, is this what he's on?
Fruity business.
Yeah, I said he's not on defending today. He's not on doing a proper job today. But anyway, listen. Another game I thought we should touch on just purely because of the entertainment factor and a lot of the stuff happening in it. Arsenal City. We knew that it was going to be a comprehensive win, but there's a lot to talk about there. Namely, David Luiz and his performance. Cam, you said that is arguably one of the worst performances you've ever seen. And and I think it's up there.
Bro, listen, it's simple as that. You had 26 minutes on the football pitch. 26 minutes on the football pitch. Within 26 minutes, you gave away a penalty, you were at the fault for the goal, and you got a red card. That's simply the worst performance I've ever seen in my life. Like 26 minutes off the pitch.
What's the other honourable mention?
Man, Woodgate for me is up there. Jonathan Woodgate for me is up there.
It wasn't.
It's the time. It's the 26 minutes that makes it so damning because that's not even 1/3 of a game, you know.
Yeah,
bro. It wasn't like, I slept on a goal or whatever. You literally, the ball hit off you because of your poor reading for Sterling to score. You then go and misjudge another read of the ball, then give away the pen. And then you go and get a red card. And then they score the pen. Like, listen, mate, honestly, worst performance ever. And the thing is, look, we need to stop. I'm seeing people get onto Jamie Carragher about what he said and Jamie Carragher, Jamie Carragher was a better defender. Jamie Carragher is a better defender than David Luiz. I'm sorry. David Luiz is awful.
Away from that, Carragher, what he said.
David Luiz is an awful defender.
No, but
Carragher was very average.
He should have been a centre mid. He should have been a centre mid.
Forget about who's better and whatnot. What Carragher said, people again, maybe because they don't understand the game. What Carragher said is factually right. If your contract is not being extended like some of these other guys into July and whatnot, which we're hearing might happen, and you've got a 3-game ban, we're probably not seeing you in the Premier League again. That's matter of fact. Like, that's not opinion or agenda. Yeah. That is matter of fact. We may not actually see him in the league again. He's banned for 3 games because of his incompetent performance.
Why is he banned for 3? Ain't it only violent conduct? That's 3 games.
No, fam. Apparently he got banned. Apparently he's banned for 3 games. That's what someone's saying. But even if it's not, if it's 1 game and we're at the end of June now. So when's his next game going to be? July? We don't know if they're extending his connie. So
listen, if David Luiz had a 5-year contract, Arsenal should be ripping it up, regardless, let alone on the end. You should see, thank you for nothing, goodbye. Listen, simple as that. David Luiz, as Carragher said, David Luiz is not good enough to play for Arsenal. And Arsenal are not a great team, but he's not good enough.
I told man, I said, listen, go and check the odds.
Can we acknowledge the KDB masterclass as well, though? And not just focus on David Luiz.
Go on.
KDB was balling out that game, pulling the strings again and showing why he's the best in the Premier League.
But, he balled out. Again, you have to beat what's in front of you. You have to beat what's in front of you. But again, it's awesome.
Man see 2-2 skills from Pogba and they're screaming again. Relax.
It's not about that. I'm just
90
saying.
minutes. KDB went around the whole game.
Ability-wise, they know.
Ability-wise. Nah, we take the whole team to scope.
Listen, KDB played well, but I'm telling you, man, it's because Arsenal were average, right? City's football is declining. There's an over-reliance on KDB. It wasn't like that last season. Last season, their football was beautiful. KDB's comeback, their football is all of a sudden KDB has to be the KDB.
What's the one thing you always say?
I watch football differently than you, man. That's all I'm saying.
I want to use the coaching excuse for Ollie, but don't want to use it for Pep.
Listen, they give the ball to KDB and
coaching.
What do you think about Sané?
If you have the ball, 1 second. If you have the ball 100
times, you're telling me the same coach that did the formidables.
Do something good eventually.
Nah. You're telling me the same coach that did the formidables is all of a sudden this season his team is tailed off because they're KDB reliant. The coach
Nah.
needs to be looked at.
Boy, you can look at it. I look at KDB too.
That's all I'm saying. When you're 25
That's
points
all
off
I'm
last
saying.
year,
Why is it KDB's fault?
That's all I'm saying.
you see what I'm saying?
Why is it
I want to
KDB's
blame
fault?
KDB, the best player in the team, the
Why are they
only one
blaming the
carrying them.
player?
Listen,
Anyway, let's talk about
Listen, you lot are too,
Sané.
you lot are too easily entertained.
What are we saying about Sané?
These are the type of fans that'll be saying, "Oh, Kane
Sané,
got golden boot at least."
Listen, I'm giving you the opportunity to talk
I
about
know what I'm saying.
I'm giving you the
This guy's
opportunity to
drunk,
talk about the
bro.
coach. What are we saying about Sané departing? How old is Sané again? Do you say 24 for one?
24, bro.
What do we think
like,
about that?
Bayern Munich are going to be a problem. That's all I know. Like, City taking another L in the transfer market. They've lost Sancho. They've lost Sané now. Like, I don't know. But for me, Bayern are the biggest winners out of all of this.
It's mad, though. I mean, like, to leave.
I don't blame him.
24,
I don't blame him.
But
what else has he got to prove at City? They've shown that they can't win the Champions League, right? He's won enough Premier League titles where he's good with that. He's shown his ability and his talent in the Premier League where no one can doubt what he does. Go and win your Champions League at Bayern Munich. That's what he wants to do now. He ain't got time for this.
Should I tell you why it's a bit damning for me? Because in my head, I understand where Manchester City want to be as a footballing club. They want to be kind of like top tier. And very similar to how Chelsea are, where Chelsea players like a Hazard will go to a Real Madrid. When I see Sané at 24 going to Bayern, it kind of makes me look at City and go, okay, as a prospect now, do people believe that, you know what, you're not in this, obviously they're not because they don't win Champions League or whatnot, or they're not competing like that. But do people believe that, you know what, okay, I can just go elsewhere now? Do you get what I'm coming from? Like, what's going to happen?
There now. You think he's been there at what? He signed there as a wonder kid from Schalke, after a season and a half. Yeah. He's grown there and become the player he is now while he's there. Yeah. So he's looking at City and thinking, can I win the Champions League within the next 2-3 years? I don't think realistically, see that. Consider there's a ban coming up as well. He's thinking, do you know what? Forget this. Take into account when he was fit as well. Pep was rotating him in and out of the side. Like Sterling was the one that was starting week in, week out, but Sané would get rotated. Sané knows his ability is not that. He knows he deserves a week in, week outside, and Bayern are going to guarantee him that big contract and Champions League. It's a W.
Playing with his countrymen as well, still, because
literally,
it's a strange one.
Sterling's 25, right?
Yeah.
Sané can leave at 24. Listen, before God and
don't think
Sterling can leave.
Sterling won't. Don't think Sterling won't. Even KDB.
It's an interesting one. It's one that we probably have to monitor. But
nobody's signing KDB, man. Chill.
Hey, you're such a hater.
If they're going to City, they're going to Sterling and that. Chill.
Guys,
the roadrunner on the wing.
Something else I want to discuss as well, and it is really annoying because ultimately we have to talk about the fixtures, and like this should have probably been at the top. But we have discussed a lot about it, and I think it's important we continue this discussion. The players took the knee after the whistle was blown. Apparently, it was Dave McGoldrick and Tyron Mings and a few other people that kind of brought this to the table. So big up them if it was. What's our thoughts on that and the Black Lives Matter in the back of the shirts and specific players like Rashford or Aubameyang actually raising their fists whilst this is going on? Got about 2 minutes left. What's our thoughts on that?
Go on, Cam.
Good for them, innit? Good for the Premier League to do that, raise some awareness. I mean,
sorry
it doesn't stop there.
It wasn't the Premier League. It wasn't the Premier League. This was all done by the players. It wasn't officiated by the league.
Good for the players to push that. You know what I mean? But it doesn't stop there, mate. It doesn't stop there. You still raise more awareness. Not even forget awareness. You take action. There's still 0 black members in the FA, and not a national governing body. So it doesn't stop there. This is just raising awareness right now and showing solidarity, which is cool, nice, and I respect them for doing it. But again, it's still more about action. No one's job is done. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean just because now you guys have had a draw against this team or your team lost, now it's just like, oh, I'm only thinking about football now. Like, no, you still think about the bigger picture. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's what I don't want. So big up everyone for doing it, right? Respect. At least they're doing something, trying to do something. So big up them. But listen, I hope the conversation doesn't stop. I mean, Ian Wright is doing a great job of still flying that flag. So
listen, everyone's
keep it
going.
going.
What's your thoughts on it? We've got like a minute.
I just think that's the key bit. Literally, now that the football's begun, obviously transfer market's going to kick up in a bit. Like, just so nothing gets lost. I like that the message is still out there, but just literally drumming on what Cam said there, like there still needs to be action. Actions always speak louder than words.
For real. What are you saying? Are you man beating West Ham, yeah, Spurs, next game?
Hey, listen, they've been our bogey team over the last couple of years, but boy, after United, who knows? Things might be turning.
Cam, are you guys beating Sheffield next game? Big game that.
Sheffield, yeah, I feel we'll get a win against Sheffield. Get a win against Sheffield to keep the pressure on. Who you lot got after? Who've got Chelsea got?
We got Villa.
Villa, I think.
No, after Villa.
After Villa, we have Leicester.
City, innit?
No, we got West Ham.
Okay.
West Ham. All right.
No, you're right. We got City.
So
you're
we
right.
just
You've
got
got
to keep the pressure.
We got City.
Oh, big one there, boy.
Big game, yeah.
We
After
have
Villa,
to beat
City.
Sheffield then.
Calm.
This is what I mean. 5 points ain't too bad. It's 2 games. Premier League, you drop 2 games quickly. So
Bro,
I'm not too pissed,
listen, man, that's another episode. Listen, be safe. Wash your hands. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure, you know what, just being safe in this pandemic.
Bash the like button as well.
Real talk. Black lives matter,
true.
man. Always matter. Make sure you're telling your friends. Have those uncomfortable conversations. Make sure your
Real
friends
talk.
are not deviants as well. You get me? That will not settle in somewhere still. But you, man.
Yo, easy, man. Bless.
Love.